Chosen one. Take a breath and open your spirit, because what is reaching you right now is not random. You are here because the scroll with your name on it is being unsealed in perfect Kairos timing. Heaven has stirred the moment. Destiny has leaned in. The appointed hour written for you before birth is pressing against the veil, and your spirit can feel it. You are standing at the edge of a divinely coded moment, an anointed threshold where something long sealed is beginning to open. This is not ordinary time. This is heaven's time. This is the hour spoken of in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, when the scripture declares that to everything there is a season and a moment appointed under heaven. Chosen one. That moment is now. You didn't click this by curiosity. You were summoned, drawn, pulled by a timing older than your body, deeper than your memory, and written into your destiny. Something on heaven's clock has begun to move, and the movement is connected to you. This is a prophetic invocation, a divine alert awakening your senses, sharpening your discernment, and preparing your heart for what is about to unfold. Anointed one, expect the atmosphere around your life to shift. Expect revelation. Expect alignment. Expect the unveiling of what has been waiting for you in the unseen realm. Chosen one, hear me with a steady spirit, because what is unfolding around you in this season is not ordinary movement. Heaven has stepped into your timeline, and every unusual stirring you've been sensing is the evidence. The dates you must pay attention to are December 5th and 6th, not as superstition, not as fear, but as revelation. These days carry spiritual weight. They have been marked in the unseen realm long before you ever breathed your first breath. And even now, as you listen, something inside you knows this is more than information. This is activation. A hidden scroll in your destiny is being unsealed, and its opening aligns precisely with this moment. Anointed one. I know what it feels like when heaven interrupts your rhythm. I've lived through seasons where God pulled me back, stripped noise from my mind, and heightened my sensitivity to things I once ignored. There were days I couldn't understand why I felt the urgency to withdraw, the need to pray, or the quiet warning in my spirit telling me, pay attention, something is shifting. Later I realized those were not random feelings. They were invitations, nudges from God's timing, not my own. And now I tell you with that same lived conviction, December 5th and 6th are such invitations. Days of divine alignment. Days where heaven is speaking louder than usual because the stakes in the spirit are higher than they appear. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to position you. There are seasons in your life when God insists on your awareness, when He refuses to let you move casually, when He signals that a threshold is approaching. In my own journey, every time I felt that sudden tightening in my spirit, every time I sensed a holy seriousness settle over me, something significant was always waiting on the other side. A blessing, a shift, a breakthrough, or a danger God was shielding me from. When heaven warns, it is always love. When heaven highlights a date, it is always preparation. And chosen. One that is exactly what December 5th and 6th represent: divine preparation for a moment written into your destiny long before now. These days are spiritually charged, not because numbers hold power, but because heaven has assigned meaning to them. It is like what is written in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. There is a time appointed for every purpose under heaven. When the appointed time touches earth, you feel it. It shakes your routine. It awakens your senses. It pulls your spirit into alertness, even when your mind cannot articulate why. That is what you are experiencing right now. You didn't stumble onto this message. You were summoned into it. drawn not by curiosity but by alignment. Chosen one, hear this with clarity. December 5th and 6th will reveal what has been hidden. They are days where spiritual atmospheres shift, where dormant battles rise, and where long-awaited breakthroughs become possible. But these outcomes are not automatic. They respond to posture. Heaven will not force protection on a distracted heart. God will not impose alignment on someone walking casually. These days require attention, obedience, sensitivity, and stillness. The spirit realm intensifies on appointed days, and the wise do not approach them lightly. In my own walk, I have lost battles I should have won simply because I treated a divine prompting as optional. And I have won battles I had no natural strength for simply because I listened when God whispered. You are being given that same whisper now, a warning wrapped in love, an alert wrapped in purpose, a message wrapped in destiny, not to restrict you, but to cover you, not to scare you, but to align you, not to overwhelm you, but to awaken you. On December 5th and 6th, the atmosphere around your life will feel different. Some of you will feel a heaviness, not of fear, but of reverence. Some will sense a sharpness, an increase in discernment. Some will feel pushed into prayer, into quiet, into fasting, into separating from noise. Some will feel the urge to confront what they've avoided or release what they've held too long. All of this is heaven preparing you for movement. These days hold potential for breakthrough or setback for protection or exposure for acceleration or delay. The deciding factor is your posture, your alignment, your willingness to stay under the shadow of the Almighty, not just visit it when convenient, your discipline to guard your conversations, your thoughts, your environment, your courage to silence distractions, your obedience to move only when God says, move, chosen one. This is the beginning. And there is more your spirit needs to hear. Chosen one. As we step deeper into this revelation, allow your spirit, not your mind, to lead. There are moments in your journey when heaven presses pause on everything familiar so you can perceive what ordinary perception would miss. December 5th and 6th are such moments. These are not random dates scattered across a calendar. These are coordinates in the spirit points of intersection, where what was written about you in eternity brushes against your present reality. And when those realms touch everything inside, you begins to vibrate differently. You feel more awake, more alert, more sensitive. It is not anxiety. It is your spiritual senses responding to a shift long prophesied over your life. Anointed One. I want to share something with you that I rarely speak about. There was a time in my life when I kept brushing off the quiet warnings God placed in my heart. I told myself I was imagining it, overthinking it, exaggerating things that didn't matter. But every time I dismissed a divine nudge, I found myself walking into situations God tried to shield me from. Conversations that drained me, environments that confused me, people who carried hidden assignments against my peace. Later, I realized something important. God often whispers warnings long before trouble appears. He does not shout. He does not panic. He simply alerts your spirit, trusting that you recognize His voice. That is what is happening to you now. That same divine whisper is reaching into your life, urging you to pay attention to these 2 marked days in December. What makes December 5th and 6th different is not the number itself, it is the spiritual activity surrounding them. Some days carry ordinary weight, others carry eternal weight. And when heaven highlights a moment, it is because something in your destiny requires your cooperation. Maybe it is protection from a hidden attack. Maybe it is alignment for a breakthrough. Maybe it is preparation for a door that will open immediately after. You don't need to know the full picture. You only need to obey the pull. The signs within you are already confirming it. You have felt the restlessness, the unusual quiet, the sense that something is coming, the desire to withdraw from noise, the sudden need to guard your spirit more carefully. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual symptoms of a Kairos moment approaching you. Chosen one, do not treat these days casually. They require awareness, not fear, preparation, not panic. There will be moments during those 2 days when you may feel the urge to isolate, reflect, pray, or simply remain still. Follow it. Heaven does not prompt without purpose. This is a time to step back from unnecessary conversations, a time to silence distractions that distort your discernment, a time to shut down the noise that tries to dull your spiritual hearing, a time to move slowly, intentionally, attentively. You are not being paranoid. You are being positioned. When I look back at the seasons when God alerted me like this, I see now how precise His timing was. There were days when I didn't understand why I felt a sudden heaviness, why I couldn't shake the feeling of needing to pray, or why I felt the urge to disengage from certain environments. At the time, I didn't know what was coming, but afterward, I could see how those quiet decisions protected me from unnecessary battles. Some dangers never reached me because I remained aligned. Some opportunities came quicker because I stayed sensitive. Some breakthroughs manifested because I listened instead of rushing. And now, Chosen One Heaven is giving you that same opportunity. December 5th and 6th are spiritually charged because they are gateways. One wrong conversation could drain you. One right moment with God could realign you. One distraction could pull you off course. One prayer could shift the trajectory of your next season. These days are not to be feared, but they must be honored. Think of them as nights similar to the first Passover, not in ritual, but in significance. Nights when obedience mattered. Nights when sensitivity mattered. Nights when being in the right place spiritually determined what passed over and what passed through. Chosen One, these dates carry potential for breakthrough, but breakthrough is never automatic. It rests on obedience. Heaven is making room for you, but you must make room for heaven. Slow down, lean in, pay attention. Watch your thoughts, guard your atmosphere, protect your peace. Small distractions during these days can have large consequences, but small acts of obedience can unlock blessings that ripple for months. There is more you must receive, and your spirit can sense it. Chosen One. As we continue, I need you to understand something essential about prophetic timing. Heaven never highlights a date unless something in your story is shifting. When God draws a circle around December 5th and 6th, it is because these days are woven into your destiny. They are not random. They are not empty warnings. They are threads in the tapestry of your calling, connected to pathways you haven't walked yet and battles you haven't seen yet. And the truth is this: your next season depends on your posture during these 2 days. Anointed One, think of your life like a divine manuscript. There are chapters written long before you arrived on earth. Some chapters open quietly, some suddenly explode with change, and others require your full participation. December 5th and 6th belong to that last category. These are days when heaven leans down and waits to see whether you will align or drift, listen or ignore, obey or postpone. These days act like spiritual checkpoints. They reveal what's inside of you. They expose what's ready and what still needs refining. And most importantly, they determine how quickly you enter the next prophetic phase, assigned to your name. I want to speak to you as someone who has walked through this kind of testing before. There were seasons when God gave me quiet alerts, subtle warnings, gentle nudges. I didn't always listen. And those moments where I dismissed the nudge, where I said, "I'll pray later," or "I don't think this really matters," those became the seasons where unnecessary warfare broke out. Not because God didn't cover me, but because I stepped out from under the covering. Conversely, the moments when I obeyed even without understanding became turning points in my life. Opportunities opened, attacks dissolved, clarity flowed, peace replaced the tension. That is why I speak to you today with such urgency, such weight, such conviction. I know what it feels like to ignore a divine warning, and I know what it feels like to honor one. The difference is night and day. Chosen one. December 5th and 6th are days when distractions will try to rise. People may reach out unexpectedly. Conversations may call for your attention. Old habits may try to pull you back. Emotions may feel amplified. Thoughts may try to scatter. You must recognize this for what it is, spiritual interference. When God marks a date, the enemy notices. Not because he knows your future, but because he senses the movement in the spirit around your life. And when he senses acceleration, he attempts interruption. When he senses breakthrough, he attempts misdirection. When he senses alignment, he attempts irritation. But you are not ignorant of his devices. Your awareness is your victory. That is why during these days your posture matters. Protect your attention like a treasure. Guard your peace like a crown. Close the doors that need to close, doors of overthinking, unnecessary talking, scrolling without intention, listening to voices that don't carry God's breath. These 2 days require a posture of reverence, a posture of stillness, a posture of sensitivity, a posture of quiet surrender, not striving, not fearing, surrendering. In practical terms, this may look like unplugging for a while. It may look like stepping away from noise. It may look like saying no to invitations you would normally say yes to. It may look like praying longer, listening more deeply, reading what your spirit has been nudging you to read, journaling the thoughts that rise in your soul, sitting in silence without rushing away from it. These are not tasks. These are alignment points. When you honor alignment, alignment honors you. Anointed one, do not underestimate the power of small obedience. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs are unlocked through simple acts of faithfulness, a quiet prayer at the right hour, a decision to remain silent instead of reacting, a moment of worship when heaviness tries to settle, a choice to separate yourself from the wrong environment. God sees all of it. Heaven responds to all of it. The spirit realm shifts because of all of it. During December 5th and 6th, you may experience heightened spiritual awareness. Dreams may become more vivid. Thoughts may come with unusual clarity. Your discernment may sharpen. Your emotions may feel more tender or more sensitive than usual. Do not dismiss this. Do not call it coincidence. It is your spirit tuning itself to heaven. It is God drawing near. It is the prophetic scroll of your life turning to a new page. Are not in an ordinary season. You are not receiving an ordinary word. You are in a Kairos moment, a window of divine timing where obedience carries extraordinary weight. If you align yourself in these days, what comes after will look nothing like what came before. Your next season is hanging in the balance, waiting for your agreement. And now, chosen one, we move deeper. There is more your destiny needs you to hear. Chosen one. As we continue deeper into this revelation, understand this: when heaven marks a date, it is because an unseen script is unfolding around your life. December 5th and 6th hold significance not because of earthly calendars, but because of heavenly orchestration. These 2 days function like spiritual hinges. When they swing open, what God has ordained moves forward. When they swing closed, what is not meant for you is shut out. This is why your awareness, your posture, your obedience matter more than you realize. Anointed. 1. There is a truth you must never forget: your life is not random. Every shift you feel, every stirring in your spirit, every moment of unusual tension or quietness has meaning. When you feel the pull to withdraw, it is often because heaven is trying to separate your spirit from noise. When you feel the urge to pay attention to small details, it is because the Spirit is sharpening your discernment. When your dream life becomes more active, it is often because your spiritual antennas are rising to catch signals you normally overlook. December 5th and 6th will amplify these signals. They are days when the veil between realms feels thinner, when your spirit hears more clearly than your ears, and when even your emotions start to reveal hidden messages. Let me speak to you personally, chosen one, from experience. I remember a season when God was preparing to shift my entire trajectory. I didn't know it at the time, but my spirit felt it before anything in the natural changed. I became unusually sensitive to people's energy. I felt drained by environments I usually tolerated. I felt drawn to solitude, prayer, and reflection. And then, on a single night, I felt a sudden heaviness, as though the air around me had thickened. I didn't understand it then, but looking back, I now see what it was: divine transition. Heaven was turning a page. A new chapter of my destiny was opening, and that shift demanded my stillness. If I hadn't slowed down, if I hadn't withdrawn, if I hadn't listened, I would have walked into the wrong places, spoken the wrong words, and stepped outside God's covering. But because I obeyed, even without understanding, I walked safely through what should have crushed me. This is why I speak to you now with such gravity. December 5th and 6th will function the same way for you. They are days of transition. Days where heaven examines your posture. Days where your obedience decides what you step into next. Some of you will be elevated after these dates. Some of you will be protected from danger you never saw. Some of you will receive instructions, dreams, or revelations that unlock the next 12 months of your life. And some of you will realize that what felt like silence from God was actually strategic preparation. Chosen one. These days will also expose things, relationships, habits, internal patterns that cannot go with you into your next season. Do not panic if you feel tension rising with certain people. Do not be surprised if old temptations suddenly reappear. Do not be shaken if your emotions feel unpredictable. This is spiritual stirring. Everything hidden tries to rise when breakthrough approaches. Darkness makes noise before it dies. Old cycles rattle before they break. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that something in your destiny is pressing forward. During December 5th and 6th, the enemy may attempt subtle distractions. You may feel tired at unusual times. Your mind may wander. You may feel unusually irritated by things that normally don't bother you. You may even feel tempted to revisit old cycles or reconnect with old patterns that God already delivered you from. Recognize this for what it is: resistance against your rising. When your destiny advances, warfare adjusts itself. But do not be intimidated. Your awareness is your defense. Your obedience is your shield. Your prayer is your weapon. And chosen one, there is something even more important these days will prepare your internal atmosphere. Whatever comes after December 6th will require clarity. It will require strength. It will require sensitivity. It will require you to move not from your emotions, but from your spirit. Heaven is not calling you into fear. It is calling you into readiness. As these days approach, practice stillness. Practice listening. Practice guarding your inner world. Turn down the volume of external noise so you can hear the whisper that guides you. Heaven often speaks softly, not to hide information, but to bring you close enough to hear it. The closer you get, the clearer the instruction becomes. Chosen one. Everything about these days indicates preparation, not punishment. God is not warning you because something terrible must happen. He is warning you because something divine is unfolding. Something sacred is shifting. Something written in the hidden scroll of your destiny is about to activate. The next part goes deeper into the nature of the breakthrough waiting on the other side of these days. Chosen one. As we move into this next unveiling, understand that December 5th and 6th are not simply days to avoid, but days to interpret. Heaven is not only shielding you from what could harm you, it is positioning you for what could crown you. These 2 days are not only warnings, they are gateways. Gateways into clarity, gateways into strength, gateways into the next season of your prophetic identity, and if you approach them correctly, they will mark the beginning of a spiritual elevation you have been sensing without fully understanding. Anointed one. There is something profound happening inside you even now. You may have noticed it already. Your spirit feels more awake than usual, more aware of subtle things, more sensitive to shifts in atmosphere. You feel when someone's intentions are off. You sense when a conversation drains you. You know instinctively when God is pulling you away from something that once felt familiar. This heightened sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a sign that your discernment is maturing, a sign that heaven is tuning your spirit to a higher frequency. And during December 5th and 6th, this sensitivity will become a compass. In my own walk, I've experienced moments where God sharpened my awareness right before a major transition. Suddenly, things that once blended into the background started to stand out. I began to perceive motives more clearly. I recognized hidden distractions disguised as opportunities. I saw which relationships were aligned with my calling and which ones were quietly pulling me off course. At the time, I didn't know why I was experiencing this clarity, but looking back, I see it was preparation. God never elevates someone into a new season without first sharpening their discernment. And that is exactly what He is doing with you. December 5th and 6th will function like spiritual mirrors. They will show you what is strengthening you and what is weakening you. They will reveal what deserves access to your spirit and what must be released. They will expose cycles you've unconsciously repeated and patterns you've outgrown. Some of this will be uncomfortable, but all of it will be liberating. Because heaven never reveals anything to shame you. It reveals so you can rise. Chosen one. These dates will also act like spiritual filters. People who are not connected to your assignment may suddenly distance themselves, feel irritated without reason, or become strangely silent. Do not chase them. Do not cling to what is leaving. When God filters, it is always for protection. When God prunes, it is always for growth. When God separates you from certain voices, it is because He wants you to hear Him more clearly. During these days, be intentional about your environment. If your spirit feels pulled toward silence, honor it. If you sense a heaviness around someone, step back. If you feel the urge to pray at unusual hours, respond immediately. Heaven often speaks through impressions, not paragraphs. Decoding these impressions is part of your growth, and these 2 days will help you refine that gift. Another sign you may feel during this time is a sudden spiritual tiredness, not physical exhaustion, but a sense that your soul is carrying weight. This is not a burden. It is the sign of a mantle settling on you, a mantle of responsibility, a mantle of clarity, a mantle of purpose. God is strengthening your shoulders for what you will carry after these days pass. And here is something you must understand deeply. Your next season requires a sharper version of you, a version that is more focused, more disciplined, more spiritually attuned, a version that no longer entertains distractions disguised as comfort, a version that recognizes God's voice without hesitation. December 5th and 6th are the days that initiate that sharpening. Don't be surprised if you feel the urge to declutter your physical space. Sometimes your environment must shift to match the upgrade happening inside you. Don't be surprised if old emotions rise unexpectedly. They are coming up so they can come out. Don't be surprised if you feel a pull to revisit past moments, not to relive pain, but to retrieve lessons. Chosen. 1. Everything in your life is converging into alignment. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not delayed. You are being prepared. Prepared for revelation. Prepared for repositioning. Prepared for the kind of breakthrough that requires spiritual maturity. December 5th and 6th are not the end of something. They are the beginning of your next chapter. If you are ready to receive the deeper revelation waiting for you, speak it now. Chosen one. As we move into this next layer of revelation, I want you to feel the weight of this truth settling into your spirit. December 5th and 6th are not simply warnings, they are divine appointments. Appointments where heaven examines your readiness, aligns your atmosphere, and activates the next sequence of your destiny. These days have been written into your spiritual timeline like bold ink pressed into ancient parchment. They cannot be erased. They cannot be ignored. They can only be honored. Anointed. 1. Something profound happens when God highlights specific days in your journey. It means time itself is bending around your assignment. It means heaven is preparing a shift that requires your awareness. And it means your spirit must rise above your surroundings. In seasons like this, everything you experience begins to carry prophetic meaning. Small changes, small impulses, small whispers. Nothing is random, nothing is wasted, nothing is without significance. And as these sacred days approach, you will feel this holy tension intensify. You may notice your spirit becoming quieter, not silent quieter, more reflective, more observant, more discerning. This is because God is turning down the volume of the world, so the frequency of heaven can rise within you. I've walked through this myself more times than I can count. There were seasons when I didn't understand why I suddenly wanted to be alone, why my usual social habits felt draining, why I wanted to sit in silence rather than noise. Later, I realized that heaven was clearing internal space so I could receive what was coming, and chosen one. This same clearing is happening in you. Another sign you may experience is a sensation of inner stretching, not painful but noticeable, as though your soul is expanding to carry something heavier, something weightier, something holier. You may feel a pull to deepen your prayer life, even if you don't have the words. You may feel a strange ache in your spirit, not from sadness, but from anticipation. This ache is the signal that your destiny is pressing forward. It is heaven's way of preparing you for the responsibility of revelation. During December 5th and 6th, the spirit realm becomes more active around you. You may feel unexpected pressure in certain moments. You may sense unseen resistance trying to distract you. You may even feel waves of emotion that seem to come out of nowhere. None of this is random. Spiritual warfare tends to rise when divine timing draws near, not because you are weak, but because you are becoming dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Attacks increase when breakthroughs approach. But here is what you must remember. You are not facing these days alone. Heaven is not only warning you, it is surrounding you. Angels are assigned to you. Protection has already been written into your days. All God asks is your alignment, your awareness, your sensitivity, your willingness to follow His leading even when it doesn't make sense to your natural mind. These days will require discernment. On December 5th and 6th, you may feel compelled to say no more than usual. You may feel drawn to preserve your energy. You may sense that certain people, places, or conversations need to be avoided. Honor those impressions. They are divine, they are protective, they are strategic. When heaven is writing something new into your timeline, the enemy loves to offer distractions disguised as comfort, familiar patterns disguised as safety, and old cycles disguised as nostalgia. You must not fall for any of it. Anointed one. Your next season is too important, too holy, too significant, and heaven cannot allow you to carry old baggage into a new chapter. That is why these days function as spiritual filters. They sift what belongs from what no longer fits. They reveal what strengthens your spirit and what weakens it. They expose what deserves your attention and what drains it. Do not resist this process. Embrace it. You might also notice memories resurfacing, things you thought you forgot, both good and painful. This is not regression, it is recalibration. Sometimes God brings old moments to the surface so He can heal what was left unfinished. Other times He brings memories to remind you of how far you've come and what He has already delivered you from. These reflections during December 5th and 6th are part of your preparation. They are sacred checkpoints. They are divine mirrors. You may also experience clarity in unexpected forms. A single thought may bring understanding. A simple moment in prayer may open your vision. A quiet whisper may reveal an instruction. And sometimes silence itself may carry more revelation than words. Do not underestimate the power of stillness during these days. Heaven often whispers the loudest in the quietest moments. Chosen one. These days will stretch you, refine you, protect you, and position you. They are thresholds. And on the other side of this threshold is a season that demands a sharper, stronger, more spiritually attuned version of you. If you are ready to move into the next depth of this revelation, speak it clearly. Chosen one. As we step into this next layer of revelation, understand something vital. December 5th and 6th are not random interruptions. They are divine intersections, points where heaven meets earth, where your destiny touches your present, where the unseen realm releases instructions meant only for those who are spiritually awake. These days stand like watchmen at the gate of your next season, and the posture you carry during them will determine what follows. Anointed one, before every major shift in Scripture, before every breakthrough in history, there was always a moment of divine pause, a moment when God whispered to the chosen, "Be still, be alert. Something is coming." You are in that moment now. These 2 days function as part of that ancient rhythm, quiet before movement, stillness before revelation, alignment before acceleration. Do not treat them lightly. In my own life, I've learned to recognize these pauses. They never appear dramatic. They often show up as a strange quietness in my spirit or a subtle heaviness I can't explain. At first, I used to ignore them, convincing myself it was just exhaustion or stress. But every time I brushed them aside, I walked into challenges I could have avoided. And every time I honored them, I saw protection, clarity, and breakthroughs unfold that made no sense in the natural. God never wastes a warning, and He never marks a moment without purpose. December 5th and 6th carry that same divine signature. These days will demand your full spiritual sensitivity, not fear, not anxiety, sensitivity. Heaven will speak in ways that require your attention, impressions, dreams, sudden clarity, unexpected conviction, or a feeling that you must withdraw from certain interactions. These are not emotional impulses. They are prophetic signals. They are heaven's coded messages written in a language your spirit understands, even when your mind does not. During these days, you may feel disconnected from things that normally interest you. You may feel unusually reflective. You may sense that conversations feel heavier than normal, or that certain environments drain your spirit faster. Pay attention to these reactions. Your discernment is not malfunctioning. It is sharpening. God is training your inner radar. He is tuning your spiritual senses so that when the next season breaks open, you will not miss the instructions hidden inside it. Chosen. One these days will also expose internal resistance fears, you suppressed insecurities you thought you'd outgrown, or patterns you believed you had mastered. Do not interpret this wrong. When heaven exposes, it is always to heal. Sometimes God reveals what is still fragile inside you so He can strengthen it before you step into higher ground. December 5th and 6th are not meant to crush you. They are meant to fortify you. There may also be moments when you feel an unexpected emotional weight. You might feel the urge to cry without knowing why, or a wave of peace may suddenly wash over you in the middle of chaos. Both experiences are holy. The tears cleanse, the peace anchors. Heaven is adjusting the atmosphere of your soul. During these days, relationships may shift. Some people may feel distant without explanation. Others may suddenly reach out after long silence. This is not coincidence. When your destiny rises, the spiritual world rearranges your connections. Some are being pulled away because they cannot walk with you into what's coming. Others are being drawn in because their presence is part of your next chapter. Do not cling. Do not chase. Let God curate your circle. Another thing you may experience is a heightened awareness of your thoughts. Old temptations may resurface. Doubts may whisper. The enemy may attempt to plant seeds of discouragement. This is not because you are weak, but because your obedience during these days threatens the kingdom of darkness. The enemy always tries to distract those who are close to breakthrough. Recognize this attack for what it is: proof of your rising. Anointed One, these dates will teach you how to guard your spirit. Everything you do during December 5th and 6th matters. The music you listen to, the conversations you have, the content you consume, the emotions you entertain. This is a time to choose intentionally. Heaven will meet you where your focus is. Slow down on these days. Honor the quiet. Lean into prayer. Tune your heart. Let God reveal what needs to be seen. Sometimes destiny is not unlocked through loud moments, but through quiet obedience. When these 2 days pass, you will not be the same. Something in your spirit will feel lighter. Something in your vision will feel clearer. Something in your purpose will feel stronger. You will cross into the next segment of your calling. If you are ready to continue deeper into what happens after December 5th and 6th, then speak it with intention. Chosen one. As we continue, understand that December 5th and 6th are not just days of caution, they are days of convergence. What converges timing, destiny, alignment, and hidden instruction. These 2 days pull together threads you have been carrying for years, even threads from seasons you thought were over. Nothing about these dates is accidental. They are sacred intersections where heaven weaves what felt scattered into a single purposeful direction. Anointed one. Once these days pass, a shift will begin, subtle at first, but undeniable. You will notice that something within you feels recalibrated. Your inner compass will point differently. Your discernment will sharpen. Your patience will lengthen. Your spirit will feel more grounded. This is not psychological. This is spiritual restructuring. Heaven loves to prepare you privately before it elevates you publicly, and December 5th and 6th are part of that private preparation. In my own life, I've seen that after any divinely marked period, whether 2 days, 3 days, or a week, something inside me always felt renewed. It wasn't always dramatic. It wasn't always emotional. Sometimes the shift was so gentle I almost missed it. But later, when opportunities opened or dangers passed me by, I realized those quiet days had reset my spiritual trajectory. That is what these days will do for you. They will reset what pressure tried to distort, realign what confusion tried to scatter, and restore what fatigue tried to drain. Chosen one, when these 2 days end, expect clarity. Clarity about relationships. Clarity about assignments. Clarity about decisions you've postponed. Clarity about what deserves your energy and what no longer does. Heaven does not bring you through sacred alignment only to leave you in ambiguity. You will feel a new decisiveness rise within you, as if the fog you carried for months suddenly lifts. You may also notice that your reactions change. Things that used to irritate you may no longer provoke you. Things that once drew you may lose their pull, not because you become hard, but because your spirit has matured. Growth often reveals itself in how you respond when no one is watching. And after December 5th and 6th, your responses will prove your elevation. Heaven has done something in you. There is another sign of what comes after these days. Opportunities will begin to open. Some may appear instantly, others may unfold quietly over the following weeks. These openings will feel different. They will feel peaceful, not pressured. They will align with your spirit, not compete with your peace. They will be accompanied by confirmation, sometimes a thought, sometimes a dream, sometimes a quiet yes in your heart. Trust these impressions. They are heaven's fingerprints on your decisions. However, not every door that opens will be for you. Some will be tests. Some will be distractions disguised as blessings. Some will appeal to your emotions, but not your assignment. That is why your discernment sharpened during December 5th and 6th becomes essential afterward. These days are not only about protecting you, they are about preparing you for decisions that shape your next year. Anointed one, as time moves beyond these dates, expect your sensitivity to continue increasing. Your dreams may carry more detail. Your intuition may respond faster. You may feel sudden boldness where you once felt uncertainty. This is not you becoming someone new. This is you becoming who you were meant to be. The version of you that was buried under fear, delay, and distraction is rising. And you will also notice something else. Your appetite for truth will intensify. You will no longer tolerate environments that suffocate your spirit. You will distance yourself from voices that carry confusion or negativity. You will crave purity, clarity, and authenticity. The things that fed your old season will feel insufficient. This is because heaven has upgraded your spiritual palate. After these dates, solitude may become sweeter. Peace may become more valuable. Worship may feel deeper. Scripture may feel more alive. Even ordinary tasks may feel different because your spirit will move through them with a new grace. This is the fruit of alignment. Chosen one, do not be surprised if God highlights new assignments after these days. Some of you will feel a divine nudge to start something: writing, studying, creating, praying, building, preparing. Some of you will feel called to close old chapters quietly. Some will feel drawn into deeper intercession. Some will sense the birth of a new identity within. These impressions are not random. They are blueprints. They are steps written into your scroll long before December ever existed. What happens after December 5th and 6th is not an ending. It is the unfolding of the chapter those days unlock, and the next layer is even deeper. Chosen one. As we continue, understand this with your whole spirit. December 5th and 6th don't just prepare you, they separate you. These days mark a boundary line between who you were and who you are about to become. They function like a spiritual doorway, and once you cross through, you will not fit back into the spaces, habits, or mindsets that once felt familiar. What comes after these days is a version of you that heaven has been shaping quietly, intentionally, and patiently. A version ready for greater spiritual weight, deeper revelation, and stronger discernment. Anointed one, after these days pass, expect a divine distinction to form around your life. People may not fully understand it, but they will sense it. Some will respect it. Some will withdraw from it. Some will be drawn to it without knowing why. This distinction is not pride. It is consecration. It is the mark of someone who has been in alignment with heaven's timing. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is less reactive and more intentional, less drained and more replenished, less distracted and more focused. Your spirit is becoming anchored. There is something you must prepare for. The atmosphere around you may shift dramatically. You may feel more peace even when external circumstances seem unchanged. You may feel more authority when you speak, not because your tone is louder, but because your alignment is deeper. Heaven backs aligned vessels. Heaven strengthens aligned voices. Heaven accelerates aligned steps. The spiritual clarity that comes after these marked days will feel like stepping into a room with better lighting. What was unclear suddenly becomes visible. You will begin to see people as they truly are. Not through suspicion, but through discernment. You will recognize hidden motives, unspoken intentions, and spiritual assignments attached to relationships. Some people will reveal their true alignment. Some will reveal their true distance. Some will reveal their true purpose in your life. Do not be alarmed by this. Discernment is a gift, not a burden. When God shows you truth, it is always for your protection. Another thing that will emerge after these days, a heightened awareness of timing. You will feel an internal shift in how you make decisions. You will pause where you once rushed. You will wait where you once forced outcomes. You will step boldly where you once hesitated. This is wisdom forming in you. These days were not only about protecting you from danger, they were about training your spirit to recognize divine timing without doubt. You will feel the difference between now, not yet, and not at all, and that alone will save you from countless unnecessary battles. Chosen one. There will also be an internal cleansing that continues past these dates. Old insecurities may surface one more time, not to torment you, but to leave you. Old fears may echo faintly, not to return, but to be silenced. Old wounds may sting briefly, not to reopen, But to close, these final echoes are not signs of regression. They are signs of release. When something is leaving your spirit for good, it often makes noise on its way out. Let it go. Heaven is creating room for new strength. As you move further from these 2 days, expect unexpected confirmation. You may hear something in conversation that resonates deeply. You may receive a message at the perfect moment. You may open a book or scroll online and stumble upon a sentence that feels like it was written specifically for you. These confirmations are heaven's way of saying, "You heard me correctly. Keep going." Another sign of your post-December alignment will be a rise in spiritual authority. You will pray differently. You will speak differently. You will see differently. The weight of your words will increase because your spirit has been purified. You will find yourself rejecting things you once tolerated and embracing disciplines you once avoided. Growth will feel natural, not forced. And here is something essential: you will begin to feel drawn into your purpose more intensely. Whether you know your assignment clearly or not after these days, the pieces will start connecting. You will sense what environments energize you and which ones drain your identity. You will recognize what you are called to build. You will feel the pull toward what you were born to do, even if it scares you. Purpose often introduces itself gently before it becomes undeniable. Chosen one. All of this is preparing you for the next phase, because the real transformation begins when you learn what to carry forward and what to leave behind. If you are ready for the next revelation, speak it clearly. Chosen one. As we move into this deeper revelation, you must understand that the true weight of December 5th and 6th is not only in what happens during those days, but in what those days unlock afterward. Heaven does not mark dates just to protect you. Heaven marks dates to transition you. These 2 days are the hinge, but what follows is the door swinging open. And as you walk through that door, you will realize that your spirit has been prepared for a season you never imagined you were ready for. Anointed one. After these days pass, expect a divine acceleration. Not worldly speed, not rushed movement, but a holy momentum. A momentum that comes from alignment with God's timing, not your own effort. You may begin to feel as though certain areas of your life are suddenly moving faster, ideas flowing more freely, opportunities surfacing without forced doors opening that had rusted shut, clarity appearing in areas previously clouded. This is not coincidence. This is what happens when your spirit catches up to the timeline written for you. The version of you that emerges after December 5th and 6th is one heaven has been cultivating for a long time. A version that has learned silence without loneliness, stillness without stagnation, patience without resignation. You will find yourself responding to life differently. Where you once assumed the worst, you will begin to expect alignment. Where you once searched for validation, you will recognize your value. Where you once felt pulled in many directions, you will feel drawn to one clear path. That clarity is evidence of divine preparation. Chosen one. After these days, you may notice that certain desires begin to shift. You may crave simplicity more than noise. You may desire truth more than comfort. You may prioritize peace over entertainment. This is because heaven is aligning your appetite with your assignment. What once felt satisfying may feel shallow. What once felt appealing may feel heavy. This is not you losing interest. It is you outgrowing what no longer fits your calling. Expect your prayer life to deepen in unexpected ways. You may begin to feel God's presence more tangibly, not always in emotional waves, but in quiet assurance. You may find yourself praying shorter prayers that feel heavier, or longer prayers that feel fluid, or silent prayers that feel like communion. Your spiritual language may shift. Your boldness may rise. Your hunger for the supernatural may intensify. This is what happens when your spirit passes through a divine threshold. Anointed one, be prepared for God to reveal new instructions. These will not always arrive dramatically. Sometimes the whisper in your heart will be, "Start here." Other times, "Release that." Other times still, "Prepare for something you cannot yet see." These instructions are precious. They are pieces of a larger prophetic blueprint. Do not dismiss them simply because they seem small. The biggest stories in Scripture often began with quiet instructions. You may also sense that certain areas of your life require restructuring. God may highlight habits that drain you, routines that no longer match your growth, or connections that dilute your purpose. Take these impressions seriously. When heaven prepares you for a new chapter, your lifestyle must shift to match your calling. Discipline becomes protection. Focus becomes fuel. Alignment becomes armor. Chosen one, after December 5th and 6th, your gifts may become more active. You might begin discerning spiritual atmospheres more clearly. You may receive dreams with deeper symbolism. You may sense warnings or confirmations sooner. This is not your imagination. This is maturation. Heaven sharpens the vessel it plans to use, and you are such a vessel. There will also be a sense of divine separation, not out of isolation, but out of consecration. You may feel less drawn to people who once influenced you, not because of bitterness, but because your spirit recognizes that certain voices cannot accompany you into this next season. Trust this separation. It is not punishment. It is preparation. And chosen one, do not be surprised if God begins to highlight your identity in new ways. You will feel more aware of your spiritual authority. You will understand your worth more deeply. You will see why the battle over your life has been so intense, because your calling carries weight. Your presence carries light. Your obedience carries power. The enemy always resists vessels who carry influence in the spirit. These realizations will begin unfolding over days, weeks, and even months after December 5th and 6th. They will not overwhelm you. They will unfold gently like pages, turning in a divine book written long before you ever arrived. Chosen one. The next phase transitions into the revelation of what your spirit will step into as these marked days activate the next chapter of your destiny. Chosen one. As we step further into this unfolding, understand that what begins after December 5th and 6th is not a small shift. It is the awakening of a deeper destiny frequency within you. These 2 days were the activation point, but what follows is the unfolding. Your spirit will begin picking up signals, patterns, and divine cues that you were not able to perceive before. This is because your spiritual senses have been recalibrated. Heaven has tuned your awareness, sharpened your internal radar, and expanded your capacity to hear, discern, and respond. Anointed. One, after these days, you will feel a new level of spiritual intelligence rising within you. Not the kind learned from books or lectures, but the kind imparted through encounters, alignment, and obedience. You will understand things without needing long explanations. You will sense danger before it reaches you. You will discern false intentions behind kind words. You will detect opportunities wrapped in simplicity. This is not paranoia. This is prophetic maturity. Your spirit is waking up to its true design. There is something else you must prepare for. Your internal atmosphere will become more sensitive to truth and more resistant to deception. Before you may have tolerated small lies, lies you told yourself, for comfort lies, others spoke to maintain their access to you, lies hidden inside old habits. But after these days, those lies will feel heavier. They will sit uncomfortably on your spirit. You will not be able to stay in environments where your soul cannot breathe. This is heaven cleansing your inner sanctuary. You may begin noticing that conversations you once enjoyed feel empty. You may find that certain shows, music, or mindless content suddenly irritate your spirit. You may feel restless in places where you once felt comfortable. These are not mood swings. These are spiritual indicators. Your spirit is no longer compatible with the levels you've outgrown. Once God elevates your frequency, old atmospheres feel suffocating. Chosen one. After these days, expect your prophetic intuition to become stronger. You may wake up with a sense of knowing. You may feel led to call someone at the exact moment they needed encouragement. You may hear internal instruction guiding you away from danger or toward blessing. You may sense spiritual warfare before it surfaces in the natural. This is not accidental. This is a divine upgrade. Your dreams may also shift. Some of you will dream more vividly. Others will begin remembering dreams they used to forget. Some will receive prophetic symbols, while others will dream of past moments that now reveal hidden meaning. Do not dismiss these dreams. Write them down. Pray into them. Heaven often uses dreams as scrolls, messages sealed in imagery, waiting for your spirit to decode. Another sign of this new season, your hunger for purpose will grow. You may find yourself dissatisfied with routine, craving deeper meaning in your actions. You may feel an inner pull, urging you to build, create, study, serve, or step into something that previously intimidated you. Heaven is stirring your assignment. The anointing resting on you after December 5th and 6th is not passive. It pushes you, shapes you, guides you. And yes, you may feel stretched. You may feel nervous. You may feel the weight of stepping into unknown territory. But this stretching is holy. It is the sign that God is expanding your capacity. Old wineskins cannot hold new wine. Old versions of you cannot carry the destiny you are stepping into. This stretching is preparation for greater responsibility. Anointed one. There will also be divine alignments after these days. People you haven't spoken to in months may reconnect for significant reasons. New individuals may appear suddenly with keys, opportunities, or guidance you didn't know you needed. These alignments are not chance. Heaven is sending you helpers, connections, mentors, intercessors, people whose presence will accelerate your progress. At the same time, God will allow certain people to drift out of your life quietly. Do not chase them. Silence can be a form of protection. Distance can be a form of deliverance. When heaven removes someone, it is not rejection, it is pruning. Every elevation requires separation. Chosen one. The biggest change after these days will be the awakening of your spiritual authority. You will speak with more confidence. You will pray with more boldness. You will confront what you once avoided. You will carry yourself with a quiet strength that intimidates darkness. You will no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You will no longer silence your gift to avoid judgment. You will walk like someone who knows heaven is backing them. This authority will attract favor. It will attract opportunities. It will attract divine assistance, but it will also attract resistance. Do not be afraid. Resistance is evidence of relevance. The enemy fights what heaven endorses. Chosen one. Everything is leading you toward the final revelation, the purpose behind this season, and what God is preparing to birth through you. Chosen one. Now we arrive at the final unveiling, the closing layer of what December 5th and 6th are truly preparing you for. These days were not simply warnings, not merely spiritual checkpoints. They were initiation days, ushering you into a higher realm of identity, purpose, and spiritual maturity. You have walked through a door that your old self could not cross. You have stepped into a dimension of calling that requires everything God has been shaping in you until now. Anointed One, understand this clearly. You are entering a birth season. Not the birth of something external, but the birth of a new internal identity, a new spiritual stature, a new prophetic posture. For months, you have felt something growing inside you, an ache, a pull, a sense of becoming. You couldn't name it. You couldn't articulate it. But you felt it. Now you know what it was. Heaven preparing to reveal the version of you that carries the authority, clarity, and resilience required for your next assignment. After December 5th and 6th, your spirit will stand taller. You will feel a new steadiness in your soul, a groundedness that cannot be shaken easily. Fear will lose its grip. Doubt will lose its influence. Confusion will lose its voice. You will move with clarity, not hesitation. With conviction, not fear. With direction, not wandering. This is what happens when heaven completes a spiritual reset. Chosen One, your next season will demand action. Not rushed action, not panicked action, but intentional movement toward what God has been whispering into your spirit. Some of you will begin building things you thought you weren't qualified to build. Some of you will break cycles that have lasted years. Some of you will boldly step into leadership. Some of you will discover gifts that were dormant. And some of you will finally release weights that God never asked you to carry. This is not about becoming busy. It is about becoming aligned. And alignment always produces acceleration. You will notice doors open that once refused to move. You will notice resources appear that you couldn't find before. You will notice relationships strengthen or dissolve in ways that reveal God's hand. You will notice that what used to feel impossible will suddenly feel attainable, not because the obstacles changed, but because you changed. These 2 sacred days were heaven's way of restructuring your inner world so that your outer world could finally respond. Anointed One, understand also that this next season will carry a deeper level of spiritual warfare, not because you are vulnerable, but because you are valuable. Darkness always resists what heaven promotes, but do not fear. You will feel a supernatural boldness resting on you, a confidence that doesn't come from personality, but from presence. You will feel protected in ways you cannot explain. You will feel guided even when you don't see the path. This is the mark of someone walking under divine assignment. You will also find your voice. Not just your speaking voice, but your spiritual voice, your authority, your influence, your ability to shift atmospheres with your presence. You will speak with weight. You will pray with power. You will declare with precision. Heaven will trust you with more because you have proven willing to listen. Chosen One, the greatest revelation of all is this. These days were not about danger. They were about destiny. They were not simply days to avoid. They were days to awaken you. God highlighted them to bring you into alignment with the chapter He is now ready to unfold. Your spirit is stronger, your discernment is sharper, your purpose is clearer, and your steps are ordered. You survived the preparation. You honored the instruction. Now you walk into the manifestation. If you are ready for the final blessing, the sealing declaration over this entire journey, simply say, "Give me the final seal." Chosen One. As we close, let this truth settle deeply into your spirit. You are standing in a Kairos moment, a divinely timed intersection where your hidden scroll is unfolding and your sealed prophecy is opening before heaven and earth. What God has marked on December 5th and 6th was never meant to break you, but to birth you into greater authority, deeper alignment, and clearer discernment. Anointed One, walk forward with confidence, knowing heaven has gone before you, and the path ahead is already written in glory. Stay faithful, stay aligned, stay sensitive to the whisper of the Spirit. If this word confirmed something in you, let your voice be heard in the comments and remain connected to this atmosphere. Your next chapter has already begun. Step into it with reverence, courage, and gratitude.